What if the entire world feels like a stage where every actor forgot their lines? Except you, left standing under empty lights and clutching your truth in trembling hands. You scroll headlines of crumbling economies, viral tragedies, and fresh alarms. You hear distant sirens and the echo of online outrage, and you wonder if your own heartbeat can still be trusted. There's a swelling ache that says, no one else knows what it's like to carry this. But maybe what you carry is the very ember that can ignite a new way home. The world promised stability as if it were a birthright, a steady paycheck, a safe neighborhood, a path lined with bright milestones. Yet, each day brings another news alert about layoffs, sky-high rent, the mounting cost of dreams like college degrees or first homes. You lie awake, tallying your debts and dreading the rent notice. Your dreams, travel, a creative calling, even simple rest? They feel like castles built on shifting sand that the tide of inflation and recession sweeps away before you can settle inside. The fear whispers, "Why bother? The floor will collapse." It seeps into your bones, coating your ambition in doubt. But here's the secret waiting to be uncovered. Ruins can be repurposed. When the ground quakes beneath you, you learn to lay a foundation in resilience instead of certitude. You start by naming the smallest victories. A healthy meal eaten when you thought your appetite was gone, or a single page written when your mind felt bankrupt. These fragments, your humble ledger of endurance, become the mortar for a new structure, one not immune to tremors, but flexible enough to sway without shattering. And each time you record a victory, no matter how minute, you reclaim a piece of your future from the collapsing headlines. Between the rubble of financial forecasts and the din of global crises lies a quieter noise, one that lives inside your chest, demanding to be heard. Let's lean into that. We were taught that knowledge is power, yet today's knowledge arrives in torrents. Every conflict zone, every famine, every heartbreak, delivered at the speed of a swipe, on repeat and without pauses. Your empathetic heart isn't built to process 24/7 trauma, and so you press refresh, feeling duty-bound to witness it all, only to discover that bearing witness has become a gauntlet rather than a gift. Inside you, a subtle panic blooms. If you look away, will you become callous? But if you stare too long, will you break? Self-resilience in a hyper-connected age means choosing when to be on. It means recognizing that your sensitivity is both a gift and a glass that needs careful handling. You protect your spirit by curating your intake, limiting those news cycles, choosing deeper reports over sensational snippets, and scheduling technology sabbaths. In the stillness beyond the noise, you remember the sound of your own breath, the pulse of your own untroubled heart, the quiet courage that flows in the absence of adrenaline. That is where your flame burns strongest, undisturbed by the endless scrolls. When you care deeply about injustice, about suffering, about the fragile march of humanity, you can find yourself on the front lines of empathy without armor. You hold the sorrow of strangers, the frustration of neighbors, the cries of distant voices that you'll never meet. Their grief accumulates like debris in your trunk until one morning it crushes the lid shut and you can't lift it anymore. But resilience is not defined by how much sorrow that you can carry. It's measured by your willingness to refill and repair your own vessel. You begin by giving yourself permission to linger in your own story before offering comfort to the world's. You jot down the faces that matter most, the moments that saved you, a friend's laugh, a garden's bloom, a line from a poem that made your spine straighten. Then, when you do reach outward, you do so from a place of a full well, not an empty cup. Because the world needs your empathy, your comforting words, and your unbroken heart. But it needs them because they arose from your own healed ground, not your own depleted husk. Here, at the intersection of global grief and personal isolation, lies a truth. You were never meant to carry it alone. And yet, you can discover how fiercely strong you are when you begin to shoulder yourself. After the world locked down, something inside of us stayed shuttered. We returned to the same streets and screens, but the ease of togetherness had fractured. We meet for coffee, but keep our phones between us. We join group chats, but let it sit in silence. Loneliness has become its own epidemic, so quiet that it sneaks into boardrooms and bedrooms alike. It teaches you to believe that connection is transactional. You text, you wait for a reply, and if none comes, you shrink back into yourself. Resilience here is learning how to feel your own company as a skill. You practice being with yourself without judgment, cooking for one meal with an open heart, walking a route meant for two people, but moving your body because it asks for motion. Reading a poem aloud into the quiet as though you were reading it to a child. In these acts, you discover that the warmest presence can be your own. You realize that aloneness can transform from absence of others to the welcome of yourself. And the loneliness that once bruised you becomes the soil where self-compassion grows. When no one else is there to light a candle for you, you can become your own sanctuary. A sanctuary has no rigid walls. It has rituals. It has corners where memories linger. It has altars made of daily choices. Your self-sanctuary might be a journal where you return to before dawn, filling those blank pages with unedited truth. Or it might be a playlist that echoes your grief and your grit, so that you know you've been heard. Or it might be the slow inhale of meditation, a moment where time pauses and you can rest in the softness of your own being. These practices aren't self-indulgent. They are acts of radical self-hospitality, inviting your spirit to rest, feeding your mind with kindness, tending to your inner life so that you have a refuge for when the world rages. The fire you reclaim lives here, in the rituals that say, I see you, I hold you, and I will not abandon you. You've spent so long waiting for someone to understand you that you forgot that you already hold the pen. Your story doesn't need an outside editor. You are both author and protagonist, free to revise the narrative at any moment. You can choose tenderness over condemnation when you glance back at chapters of regret. You can insert new scenes of triumph, born from tiny acts of courage. Begin by speaking your truth, aloud, on paper, or in a voice memo. Let the words wobble and crack. Let them carry the music of your real voice. Each time that you bear witness to your own complexity, you claim back the power that others tried to steal with their judgments, their notifications, and their conditional love. Your story becomes a testament to saving yourself, to surviving the storm, to dancing in the wreckage, to lighting your fire again and again, no matter how deep the wind. So here we are, under the canopy of all the world's noise, all of its fractures and its fears, and yet you remain the one person who can never abandon you. I see you, shaking hands, racing mind, heart battered by so much that you never signed up for. I see the ache that said you were the only one, and I hope you feel, right now, the tremor of this truth. You are never alone, and you are not unworthy. This place, this gathering of your courage, your sorrow, your unstoppable spark, it's home. It doesn't look like a postcard sunrise or a crowd of cheering faces. It looks like quiet mornings where you speak your name with soft pride. It looks like tears that fall so that your soul can breathe. It looks like hope not born from safety, but from the fierce, tender act of staying with yourself. And if you doubted your value, your brightness, or your right to stand under these open skies, doubt it no more. Lean into the warmth that you carry. Fan its flames with each choice to show up for yourself. Breathe deeply into the promise that this, your wounded, magnificent self, is where true understanding lives. Home is not a house. It's your unwavering presence, your reclaimed fire, your story, written in living ink. You are home, and now you're truly seen.